Let's talk about SoFi, let's talk about Trump Media, and let's talk about pounding to your friends. If you're not making money in the market this week, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what you're looking at, but things are off the chart right now. And let's break down what is going on right now with SoFi to start with here. So, the question is here right now, SoFi has earnings next Tuesday, and those earnings will be coming out before market open. So Tuesday could be a huge run on SoFi. Now, has the potential to run to $15 here. I don't think that's crazy to say that. I really don't. The question is SoFi already pricing in these quarterlies? Now, of course, a lot of these analysts, when you read about, what they're talking about right now, a lot of them are pricing in what they see right now with SoFi. And of course, they're projecting out too, but they're only projecting out so far. So most of them are just going off of what they see right now. They're putting something out there in the zeitgeist, so it has to be somewhat down to the numbers. But what they're not putting in there too is just the inflation with hype on the stock, and that can really push up a stock more too. So we have all this building right now with SoFi, and SoFi today started heavy right around this $11 range again, $11.30, and then we saw a little bit of sell-off, but not a lot of sell-off. I mean, still holding its ground very, very good here. I mean, this is really positive what's going on right now with SoFi. I mean, SoFi has not held a $10 mark in a long time, especially for consecutive days here. So this is very, very good. Now, I don't want to talk about all the deals, everything that's going on with SoFi. I've talked about that. Everyone should know at this point what has been going on with SoFi. You've had your head in the sand if not. But this is it right here. These quarterlies that are coming out this Tuesday, these will decide how high SoFi will go. Are these quarterlies going to be, just amazing quarterlies? Are they just going to be, good quarterlies, positive, everyone's happy, SoFi is going to continue just to move up slowly? That's a very real possibility, and we're okay with that. That should make you happy. But the question is, are these quarterlies just going to be like, whoa? That's a possibility too. One thing that I have noticed here with Anthony, the CEO of SoFi here, is that he had an interview months ago where he talked about the future of SoFi, about the end of this year, literally right now, that he said there were some big things coming. Well, we've already seen a few things. The $2 billion deal situation going on, the credit card situation that happened like 4 weeks ago. And not only that, the election's here in a few days at this point, just like 2 weeks away. This is all coming down to what SoFi has been waiting on, not to mention the rate cuts. Yes, the rate cuts are happening. They're still going on. But a lot of that will, inflate the price going into next year, will help push SoFi when we see those quarterlies into 2025. But right now, the question is SoFi ever going to go back down to just a one-digit number? Are we ever going to see it back at $8, $9? If there's a crash in the market sooner than later, yeah, that's a real possibility. But I don't know. The market is not showing signs of stopping at this moment. I don't know that we're going to see a dip in this market until maybe, somewhere next year. That depends, though, what happens here. I somewhat, my personal belief, I think there's something coming here regardless, whoever's president. I know Michael Berry has been, Michael Blue, what I'm talking about, but he's been selling a lot of his stocks, all of his bank stocks. He has sold almost all of them, but a lot of big investors are selling a lot of stocks like that. They're just not keeping them. And if there is a crash, what are the first things and the heaviest to go? It's the bank stocks. They get attacked the worst, and SoFi would be right in that category. This is not a situation where you should be scared to put money into SoFi. SoFi is doing great. SoFi is still undervalued for what's coming here, because one thing that should make you very happy about what we know about SoFi is that in 2025, we are going to see a lot heavier earnings. Earnings in 2025 with SoFi are going to be off the charts. That is what we know what is coming here, because these rate cuts are going to help that. This deal they just locked in is going to help that. Things we don't even know about that are still being worked on right now with SoFi, that's helping. Not to mention, SoFi has got the attention of the investor side. People are with it, they're for it, it's going, it's not stopping. SoFi's got plenty of earnings at this point behind it to say, hey, we're doing great, we're in the money, we're going. And this next earning that we're about to see here in days is really going to tell the tale of where we're going here and how, what are we looking at here? Are we looking at just a face melting quarterly? Maybe. It could be a big one. So we're either going to see SoFi play around this $12 range or $15 range or somewhere in there. But if SoFi went to $15 here by Tuesday, if we saw huge quarterlies, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. I think that's a very real possibility. And, just 3 weeks ago, SoFi was sitting at $7. So, my God, people have made huge amounts of money at this point, but it's not going to stop. This is the thing with SoFi. We know it's not going to stop. It's on to the races at this point. It's not a Palantir situation, but it is a situation where it's not going to really stop here with what's going on. SoFi this time next year, this could easily be a $20 to $25 stock. Easily, especially with the earnings next year. Like I said, they're going to be heavy earnings next year. I mean, absolutely just heavy earnings. So let that encourage you. Let that, just make you happy that we're going to see that, and be excited about what's going to happen here Tuesday. This is going to be a really big day for SoFi. I am just curious if with this much growth we've seen in the stock price, is SoFi already pricing in this next quarterly somewhat with what they think is coming? So $10 to $15, this is our new range, more than likely with SoFi. It's going to take some really bad days in the market and bad news with SoFi that I don't see coming to make it go down past $10. And if it did go past below $10, it would be bought up so fast, because it's proved at this point, okay, we're good, we are going up from here. Even if SoFi has a few bad days in a row, which I find hard to believe at this point, it's still going to move up, even with that, because people are going to just buy it up every time it drops down. Even at $10.50 right now, which is crazy to say, SoFi at $10.50 is a deal. Friends, let's go right into DJT. Well, we are making some money with DJT here. So like I said, I bought into this stock, what was it, Tuesday, Monday, something? I bought in. I put just a chunk of change in it, and I am up. I'm up big, and not up big, but I'm up. And, I'm in the positive. And really where my sell point at this right now is if we see a $50 to $55 mark. I don't think that's crazy. And of course, when I talk about this stock, there's two people that see this. Three. There's three. The third one, though, is really, really dying down. They're getting beat out right now. The first one are majority of people, I believe, in the market, day-to-day market. You're watching what's going on. You're addicted to the market. Very healthy situation. You see this as a FOMO play. You see this for what it is. The next 2 weeks are just fun plays. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, make your money, jump back in, make your money, jump back in. That's what we're doing right now with SoFi. Some of us are holding for a little bit bigger of a squeeze, a grab here with what we can get. And that's understandable. And then there are the people here that are just, I see it, they comment and they go like, I wouldn't put a dime into Trump media. You have to be a fool to buy this stuff. They don't get what's going on. They don't get what we're doing here. You should not be buying, and this goes right into the third person with DJT here. This is not a stock you should be looking at for quarterlies right now. This is not a stock where we're looking at earnings. This is not a company that we're looking at into the X amount of future time-wise. It's not that kind of situation. This is a hype play. This is a FOMO. And that's okay, because there's a lot of money in FOMO. There's a lot of money in hype. We've seen that time and time again in the stock market. This isn't exactly going to be like a GameStop situation. Maybe, but it is going to be a really big play, and it's not going to stop. The stock is not going to stop going up. up. You know why it's not going to stop going up? Because people are not going to stop buying it, and it keeps getting more expensive because the hype around it keeps getting bigger and bigger. We're going to go right into that in a minute. But that third person, too, buying this is someone that just thinks, and I don't want to sound mean or rude because I'm really not trying to be, but they're too emotional with the stock. They're too emotional with the company in the sense of like they're buying this for the long run. It's like, I'm going to hold this forever. That should not be in your mind right now with this stock. It just shouldn't be there. It's a dangerous situation to be in right now because the survival of this company, this stock right now, is solely on Trump winning this election. If Trump does not win this election, this stock will plummet down to $10 to $5 here hours after the election is called. Do not kid yourself. There's no reason to hold it because the media will immediately go after this company and they will submerge it. They've already done it and they will do it. Not to mention the market has been halting this stock here and there when it goes on. I thought they were going to halt it today again because it was moving so good. I was like, oh, here it comes, here it comes. They didn't halt it, surprisingly, but they could have, and I was waiting. But with that, too, the stock price today, we almost hit 40. We almost hit 40. I mean, we're just cents away at this point. But the stock closed out good today, real good. We hit 39 in almost 5 cents, but actually more than that, 39 6 cents from what I'm seeing right here. Yeah, but still that's amazing. But look at what we're doing here. It's pretty obvious the stock. You don't have to be a genius in the stock market to see that it's just building. It's building off of hype. It's building off people not wanting to miss the boat. And even if you're buying it at 38, before I say what I'm going to say, please don't put money into this where you have to like pay your mortgage or pay your kids pay the power bill or something for your children, buy them food. This is not that situation. This is like, hey, I've got play around money and this is what I'm doing. But even if you're buying at $38 right now, I still think you're going to be in the profit range here by this time next week. Trump hype right now is so thick, it's unbelievable how well it is right now. And today has been just a terrible day for essentially Kamala because the polls have been coming out, saying that Trump's ahead, and where the Trumps say he's not ahead, they're still really close. I mean, like crazy close. The betting average is still at 60% compared to Kamala, who's sitting at 38.8 at this moment. And even I think it was yesterday, Trump was at like 6.2 with the betting average, 60.2. So, I mean, it's just, I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm just saying this is what we're seeing right now. And the Trump mania is just hyped right now. So with that too, and the Joe Rogan podcast, Trump podcast happened today. So we know that's coming out here any day now. My solution, my plan here is, I'm watching what's going to happen here. I don't want to say this. I don't want to put a number on what I think the stock's going to go to. I just don't want to do that because I don't want to lead people down the wrong road. This has to be a situation where you feel comfortable going like, you know what? I've made my profit. I'm good. I'm going to walk away and just see what happens from here. If Trump wins the election, this stock will continue to really go high. If Trump won the election, I would not be shocked to see this stock maybe go to $70 to $80 easily. Anything after that, who knows? If Trump does win the election, the stock will more than likely have a little bit of a sell-off point towards the end of November, the beginning of December, and then it will start to pick back up again at the end of December into the beginning of January when Trump is inaugurated. That's more than likely what would happen with this. So, even if you, and why I say that is if you sell out, like you make your profit, you're like, hey, I'm going to sell at 45. I feel good about that. I'm done. And I'm going to take my money and go somewhere else. I'm out. I don't have to worry about it. Don't use this as a blackjack game. Don't play around with it. What I'm saying is you're going to have more chances if Trump wins. But two, if you hold this until after the election, I'm telling you, you have got to be careful because if soon as it's said if Trump loses this election, it is going to be a bloodbath in this stock. Do not kid yourself. Do not trust the market. Do not trust the situation. You will get burned with this 100%. Look at how the stock has reacted in the past with this year with bad news, with situations. The stock is a FOMO play. It's a hype play. It's not a real stock. It doesn't react to earnings. This isn't a company right now that's reacting to earnings. It's not reacting to deals being made. And when I say that, it's not to make people mad, because when I say that, people go like, how dare you say that about that? You have to understand what's going on here. This is a hype play, okay? It's a hype play. That's all it is right now. Now, if Trump wins the election and this company survives, okay, great. Now we're talking about quarterlies. Now we're talking about what's their earnings, debt ratio, money here, there, deals, what's their plans for the future. Then we're talking about something else there. That's a different conversation. But right now, realize what this is. So 38, Monday, I'm waiting. I thought news would have come out by now about the Trump Rogan podcast. And of course, by the time I put this video up, it may come out. But I do suspect that even if it comes out late tonight, that we see a picture with Trump and Rogan surface. It's going to happen here. There's going to be a picture of Trump and Rogan surfing, coming up here. It's going to surface. And that's really going to put, a lot of hype on the stock as well, because people are going to be like, this is great, this is good. And Trump mania is just going crazy once again. So that is another play, and that is Trump media. Friends, Palantir stock. Good God. Palantir stock finally broke into $45 today. Big day for Palantir. Broke new highs, and we are just but weeks away from Palantir releasing their new quarterly, which we are all wondering, is this going to be the quarterly that is just out of this world? And a lot of people suspect that this is going to be the biggest quarterly we have ever seen with Palantir. Very well could be. And that quarterly will be coming out on November after market close that day, just so you know. I've talked about Palantir so much, and there's not a lot of new news compared to what we've seen with the old new news at this point. The Microsoft deal, everything happening. And just, the stuff I've talked about with Alex, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I've said this, that I believe a lot this year in general, especially the last few months, that Alex Karp, the CEO, has been leaving breadcrumbs. I think I know he's been leaving breadcrumbs. We've already seen it, to where he's essentially said like, hey, we're undervalued. 2, we've got things coming that you can't even imagine. 3, the stock price, our value right now is unbelievably cheap. I can't remember how I said it, but essentially saying like we're undervalued. So we've seen a lot of these things start to come out here, and saying that there's things that are going to be happening that people are not even ready for. So we've got stuff like that going on with Palantir, and looking at Palantir right now at a $45 stock. This could be Palantir at a very cheap price. Imagine this time next year. Imagine that Palantir comes out with these quarterlies here, and they are just like unbelievable. I mean, we're just like, oh my God. And the stock jumps to all-time high. I mean, from $45, essentially where it's sitting right now, it goes, 15 to 20 more % up. I mean, imagine that. And then it stays there. And then what happens after that? Well, then people catch wind of it. Then you have this whole new cycle of, people don't want to miss out. They're in FOMO situation. They're like, oh my God, I've got to buy more. Even people that are holding Palantir, you're listening to one. I've started buying Palantir in another account. I made another account just for Palantir. I started to buy it up in that at a higher rate, just because I know what is coming here in the next 5 to 10 years with Palantir. We're looking at a stock. We're looking at a company that does not have real competition right now. It owns the gambit of what it does. So what does that mean? It means that it could look a little bit like NVIDIA. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing it to NVIDIA, so go ahead and save your comments. But what I'm saying is that it could look like it with shapes, in the sense of like, okay, we could get to a point here within a year or two where Palantir could get so expensive. Maybe, let's just say in a crazy crazy scenario. Hype takes over. FOMO is just rampant in Palantir. They are killing quarterlies. They grab another $500 million deal that we did not see coming. And that's just like a little bit of a cherry on top of what's already happened here. Okay. Now, let's say by April of 2025, Palantir is at like a $70, $80 stock price. I don't really think that's crazy to say. I don't think that's crazy to say because I've seen a lot of other people that I know in my personal life, on YouTube, whatever, their projections are far more high than what I'm even saying right now. Like, I'm trying to stay somewhat modest here. But let's just say that. Okay. Well, let's go this far and say, okay, December of 2025. We don't know what deals are coming. We don't know how much higher Palantir is going to move up here in the AI sector. Maybe it will be in the dominant 5 of AI into next year with the stock market. It's moving that way. It's in the S&P, all that good stuff. Okay, let's say we're looking at Palantir next year, and let's just say something crazy. Maybe it's at $150. Okay, well then we're going into 2026. Maybe Palantir breaks into $200. And then it just keeps running. It just keeps running. Same kind of scenarios we have seen with NVIDIA back, like a stock split ago with them. Okay. Now Palantir is in a situation where the stock is getting so expensive, now 2-3 years from now, we're talking about a stock split. Okay, now this is where people just become filthy rich off things. Okay, let's say Palantir does a, 10-for-1 stock split. Holy crap. Okay, so you've held the stock for 2-3 years. Let's just say you have 30 shares. Let's say you have 50 shares, 100 shares. Maybe you've got 1,000 shares. But even if you had 30 shares of Palantir, and you held that for 2-3 years from now, and then they did a 10-to-1 stock split. Okay, and let me go even further than that, because I know somebody's going to comment and they're going to say, well, stock split doesn't mean you make more money. Well, actually it does, because here's why. Okay, so you have that stock split. Well, then guess what? Palantir is going to keep running. Do you know how many stock splits NVIDIA has had? Look up the history. It might shock you. They've had a lot, just like Tesla. Tesla really hasn't even had that many. When a company does a split, it doesn't mean the stock just stops running. It keeps going. And I'm comparing NVIDIA to Palantir to NVIDIA on the basis of what has been happening with NVIDIA. Because NVIDIA just had that stock split. But guess what? The stock is at an all-time high now. It's running again, because they're getting ready to restart the whole chip situation. They're still killing quarterlies. They're dominating with their earnings. Palantir could be in this conversation here in the next 2-3 years. That's a real situation. So if you're just holding maybe 10 shares, 20 shares, don't look at that and go like you're the little guy. Those shares right there could change your life. Imagine if you held those for 2-3 years and then they split. Like a 10-to-1, maybe just a 5-to-1, something maybe smaller. But still, imagine you held that another 6 years, 10 years. Maybe there was 2 more splits in those 10 years. We're talking about retirement money. We're talking about big money now. This is how people become rich in the market over time. Do you see? I personally am not selling Palantir. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And people get mad. I think, like, I've seen comments like people get mad when they say, like, you talk too much. It's good to talk. I like to hear people talk. I like to hear people's mindset. What are they thinking? How do they see this? There's plenty of videos out there where people are going over candlestick charts and like, well, if we got a little more volume right here, and then we see a little push right here of about 2% more, it's going to jump over here and then make this huge candlestick. I don't care. Okay. You should be holding this. Look at this for the long play. This stuff is going to change your life in the next decade. I guarantee it. Most of us, who knows where we'll be in 10 years? I don't know. But this company is just in the genesis stage of what is going on with it. So Take that to the bank. That is what's going on right now with Palantir. So these next quarterlies that are coming up, they're going to melt your face. They're going to melt your face. Friends, I wish all of you the best of luck. I really do mean that. I'm excited about Sofi, DJT, a lot of money still to be made there with that stock. Palantir, we're about to see some big numbers. Palantir more than likely will be at $50 here within the next week or two. It showed 45 today. I'm not going to be shocked to see it run up to 50 here this time next week. It's probably going to happen. Friends, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.